Okay, hello, everyone. My name is Diamond Rivera of the Live Discussions with Diamond podcast. And tonight, on this Monday night, we have two special guests, all the way from LA, California, the one and only Saya and Lyliana Beltran of MG Elites.
Thank you.
Thank
Hi,
you for having
Diamond.
us.
Thank you.
Oh man, it's awesome finally getting to have this talk. As we've talked privately, I really wanted to have you on this podcast for so long, just seeing your accomplishments over along the way, but also realizing over the years how you've talked so highly of your mother and people not understanding that with MG Elites, it's not just the dancers, but the direction that goes along with it. So I think it's so important seeing the family aspect of an actual team goes so much further than just dancing on a stage.
Thank you. Yeah, I think. It's just funny because when we go to congresses or even before, David and I would travel. And we're like, okay, but we're going to bring our mom. But when people think like our mom, they're like, oh, how cute, you're bringing your mom. And we're like, no, that too. But like, she's our director also. And in like when we first started traveling, my brother and I before, we were still younger, so we would fight a lot. So we were like, man, if it was just David and I, we would have killed each other a long time ago.
Man, and you know what I really appreciate is understanding that going along with being a parent and then also being a director of the company, realizing that again you have the best interest of the team at heart. But I mean, evidently you have two of your children a part of the team, and like you kind of have to guide them. And we're gonna definitely get into like kind of the beginnings and understanding that yourself, Saya, that you've been dancing for years and this really has been a generational thing happening. And with MG, meaning my generation, I think it's perfect that we have the generation here, the two generations, the mother and the daughter, being able just to speak about everything in terms of like how dance has affected your life. So for me, I think it's really important that we understand everything from the beginning. So Saya, I mean, I could never do this justice. I just would love to know really like how did everything get started for you?
How did everything get started? Lyliana, I want to kill it. Okay, first, everyone also know me. They know that I get very nervous to be in front of not well. That's why I love performing, because I feel that's when I turn into someone that I'm not, and so very like this, like I'm public speaking and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my goodness, my hands like. But that's why performing was the best part of what I did, because I could transform to that that other Saya in me that is in there, but it's just it's very shy to come out. But anyways, I started dancing. When I started dancing was because I was in her dad and I really bad relationship, and that's why I love and respect dance so much, because it got me out of that depression stage of my life where I was, because it wasn't a good relationship and stuff, and so I needed something to help me start believing in myself, start becoming, because I think for a moment in my life I forgot who Saya was back then, that version of Saya. So through dancing I found myself again, a little bit more confidence and performing things I never thought I could do. And so dancing took me to this studio where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna learn. I wanted to learn how to dance cumbia, because I went to a family party and they made fun of me and they told me, oh, muy mexicana y no bailas cumbia. I was like, I do. I go, but watch, but I'm gonna come back, blah blah blah. So when I went to the studio, they reeled me in with like, oh yeah, we teach cumbia. No, they didn't have cumbia classes, but they had salsa classes.
Gotcha.
And so from there, I'm okay, I'll just try it then, I guess. And I started dancing, and salsa was the first thing I did. And then within 6 months, they had me already learning choreography. Because the thing about me is that I don't know how, I don't know why, I can't explain it to you, but I love to dance. I just love it. There's just something, the music, maybe my dad, because my dad, I think he's the one that introduced us to a lot of all that different genres of dance and music. And so I started dancing, and from there, you know, I was in that studio for 10 years of my beginning. And so until my husband decided, my husband now, the one who I married, my dance partner, he opened his studio, and then from there MG started. I guess we started the new generation stuff of 2007 we started MG
when we opened the studio.
Yeah. 2007.
So Saya, when you said you started dancing, did you kind of go at one point to like salsa socials or dance events like in the area?
Yes, we used to go. There used to be Steven Steakhouse, Basilio's, the Mayan. Oh yeah, the Mayan. I remember the Mayan. The Mayan, stuff like that. So and I actually tried competing at once. That was not good. That was not good at all. That's why I give them props, because they did it, and it takes a lot of courage to compete. But I wasn't for me. But I knew that pressure. So my idols were Rogelio Moreno, Vasquez, Francisco Vasquez, Salsa Brava, all those were my idols. You know, Los Rumberos, you know, Salsa Boricache. Those are the ones that I looked up to. Like, oh my God, my idols. You know, those were the ones. Those were the ones that I grew up. Not grew up, but dancing basically. My first, so we would go to the clubs and stuff like that, perform, and we actually did social dance back then. Now no, but back then, yeah, that was my beginnings. The LA Congress was the first Congress I ever went to. When
2001.
I don't remember, but it was, yeah, you were 4 years old.
I know, so yeah.
I think she was 4. When the first year I took her, she was 4, but I was already done. I was already
4 years old, like going to those events.
It was everything big.
It was cute because Lyliana, when she was little, she always all these footwork that she does. She would always be in the rehearsals and try to do it and copy. And she goes, "Mommy, I want to do it." And I said, "No, mamita, not yet. You're still too little." And then she goes, "Mommy," and she would practice. Well, just practice, mommy. You know, just practice. So she would practice. I took her to Congress. She was 4. And then she goes, "Mommy," we saw the performances, and she's like, "Mommy, I want to do that." And I go, "Mommy, one day you'll grow up and you'll be able to be up there, this and that." Came one day, and the next year she was already. That was she was her first Congress. She was 5 years old. 5 years old. The next year, she wanted to dance, and she made it happen, and she looked cute doing it. So they put her in there.
Man. So wait, so when you started dancing, Lyliana, was it with you and your brother, or was it like one started and the other kind of followed after?
So my brother would always like get mad because technically I have a little bit longer than him dancing, but I think it was
only 6 months.
We used to like argue and be like, I have more, but no, it was only like 6 months. Once he saw me like getting all the spotlight, he's like, nah, like I'm gonna get it too. So then he started dancing and yeah. So literally like a few months after I did, but he was always there too.
She was 3.5, and then 6 months later, the summer, that's when he started dancing too.
Yeah, and then he started.
Yeah.
Well, at least before we keep going, during the interview, we possibly will be having real live comments coming in. For example, Ziana Otero, all from Jersey.
Love you.
Love you. Oh.
Yeah, you know, and honestly, it's amazing because what you're talking about of going to the LA Congress, I remember those days as a youth myself. And realizing that as people my age, around maybe 9 or 10, and then even seeing yourself younger, being exposed to that at a young age, but actually enjoying it. And then like from you dancing, and now your daughter have found an interest, and then your son found an interest. I think that was awesome because maybe it was intentional or not, but I mean, like you said, your daughter was doing footwork at 4 years old or 3-4 years old. And honestly, we're definitely going to get into that because I think you definitely, Lyliana, have a very unique style. I love that you have amazing foot placement, and I know why you're doing certain steps to hit certain beats.
Yeah.
And a question I definitely have, maybe, this is perfect, because being considered LA dancers or West Coast dancers, you hear about the East Coast and the West Coast, and there's a different styles and maybe an attitude. For both of you, could you honestly, do you feel like there's a stereotype to how LA dancers are, and if you feel if that's true, or is that just made up, really.
Let's bring out the list.
Let me tell you, when these kids they used to blackmail. No, I think this one still does it. But he's gonna keep doing it. But David used to love to say, "Oh, really, mother? Do you want me to show them the videos?" Da, da, da. And so these kids make fun of me because on one, back in the days, we used to do a lot of what was it?
Or the.
And so they make fun of me
on one
because that's how we used to do it before. And
then personality-wise, I feel like a lot of people think that LA is like super conceited.
We know it all.
Which we know it, which we agree with. Unfortunately,
okay.
there are a lot of people in the scene here in LA that think they can be teachers after like 2 classes that they they take 2 classes and I'm ready to teach and I'm gonna be a pro, and so we have a lot of that here in LA. So we can agree with a lot of the rumors about the LA people.
Stuck-up people, yeah.
A lot of stuck-up
They don't
people.
like to train or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the same thing you're saying, I think it's really all communities, but I guess because LA is known as the place of entertainment or the hotbed, I guess dancers there are kind of like, I have to go over the top to prove that I'm something. But what you just said earlier, Lyliana, I just had that conversation with Mario B about there's dancers that are really becoming instructors too soon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think especially with Saya, you dancing for many years and then now having your children, your generation now is pushing forward. I think you have perfect experience in understanding, like, there are people that can learn how to dance, but it's not that easy just to become an instructor.
It's not. I've had a lot of, and I've seen a lot of that are. One of my teachers, Brenda, one of my teachers one time told me, you're either a good social dancer or a good performer. But and I go, but I can be both. And so my teachers, his name is Francisco Aguirre. We used to call him Karateca, from Miguelito from Steven Steakhouse. He teaches there. That teacher, he was amazing. He taught me a lot. He told me, I don't want you just to learn choreo. I want you to dance it. So he's the one that started teaching me to kind of like, you have to do this. You have, like, this is the way. Yeah, whatever. That's why I passed that knowledge to them, because it's like, it's not just about, we have to, keep, learning and training and stuff. And so, so we have a lot of those amazing teachers that teach us. So,
yeah.
Man, so then when you're in, as I say, the salsa world in a sense, when did you notice that MG really was picking up steam, and now this isn't just we're a local team in a sense? Now, like, we're getting recognized now.
I think it was because MG has been around for like how many years? Like 12?
No, 13.
I think it would be
13 years.
It would have been 13.
13 years.
I think 20, around 13 years. But we started as kids, so we, like, my brother and I always felt like people wouldn't take us serious because they're like, oh, how cute, these are the kids, da, da, da. But even then, like, we were working, and our choreos were pretty good for being like little kids. But I feel like as soon as we started getting older, and I think it was as soon as we competed at World Cup in 2013, I think that's when people were like, oh shoot, like, well, we were still teenagers, but they're like, oh shoot, like, these kids, like, we're just like, we kind of we surprised them.
Because everybody would say like, what are they doing? What do you mean you're training? What do you mean? What do you do?
Yeah, and then we wouldn't stay at the schools after we performed, because first of all, we were kids, so we were in school. We had school the next day. We had homework. It was late. People were drinking. Of course, like, it's not a good environment to be around. So we weren't out a lot. But my mom used that as like, okay, we're gonna just stay in the studio. We're gonna train. And then as we started getting older, it was like, all right, now let's show them what we've been training for. And we still kept training regardless. So I think after 2013, once we competed, that's when it kind of picked up. And then we competed in bachata. And then that's when it was just kind of started going from there. And then people wanted to hire us more. And I think we started traveling more like 2016 or so.
I want to say.
That's when we kind of started traveling a lot more. And then for sure 2017 was when my brother and I yeah, we started traveling just more, and then before we know it, we're like, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, because there's the moments, or even I would say routines that can kind of push you there. But a question I have, Saya, is what is that experience like of actually not just being the mom on the trip, but the director, and how is the experience of having your kids dance, and what have you like? What have you tried to kind of, like you said, steer them away from? Like you said, they were younger. So you weren't going to allow them to be, even though you were able to dance, you still weren't going to push them into that adult setting so soon.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things I was very, even till this day, I think a lot of people don't understand is that when I had them, when the older generation, my generation, we stopped dancing, and then it was their turn, because I did grow up and I did see I've seen a lot of careers because of alcohol, because of the drugs go down.
Yeah.
And super talented people, man, and then and they stopped because of that, or the first time that I ever saw one of the people, I looked up to that person, whatever, and I saw them do that. I'm like, oh, it's a bummer for me, because I thought, dancing, I saw it differently, the respect that I had for it, because it changed my life in the positive. So when they started dancing, it's been a challenge, because I'm going to be honest with them.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're very like, they see everyone, I want to stay. Why can't we stay? Or why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? It's fun, but they're 13. How old? You were the youngest one.
I was young. I think it was more
13, 14 to 17. That was the range that I had. And even though, I get it, but I always said that there's a time and there's a time for everything. And I wanted them to learn more than anything that there's other ways of having fun right now. When they get older, then it's different, then they can do whatever they want. But at that moment, and their parents, I would have them with me and stuff. I'm like, man, if
the parents were trusting all those kids with my mom, so she had to make sure that they were okay. Especially, I feel like, because the teenagers at that time, because I was the smallest one, I was always the little shrimp baby. So the teens at that time were already getting in that age of like, oh, we want to do this and we want to do that.
And it's understandable, because it's the age of it, but I don't think they understood that I was trying to protecting them and trying to just teach them something different, which is fine. It comes with the territory. So it's been hard for me in that aspect, that, okay, like making them understand in that time that everything that I do it because I love them, and because I really want them to be successful in this, because if this is what they want to do. When we travel, it was chaotic, because my brain was like this, hold hands, let's see, make sure that everyone's there. Okay, 10, 20, 20.
Traveling, it was crazy.
As soon as the performance and stuff like that, director mode, so in the airport, I was mom mode. Okay, counting, okay, hold hands, let's go, maletas, get to the hotel, and then we're like, okay, now director mode. Okay, let's rehearse. We have to be da 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 da. We're gonna, back then it's like, okay, at this time we have to go up, because that's when everybody that was having fun, will come down, but they're too little. Let's go watch movies, or let's go do. So that was hard in the beginning. When they got older, it became a lot easier. Just I would tell them, okay, be up. Just make sure you guys are up by tomorrow by rehearsal, because we have a tech rehearsal at 9 a.m. Me were like, we're gonna sleep, man, because
sleep over social dancing.
I ain't gonna. That's too tiring. Waking up, performing, and then we have a tendency. Well, we perform 3 nights the weekend, which we love. Or they love.
Back to back.
Yeah, we don't mind.
There was a point where at some festivals we would do, like, I think the most we did once was like 3 routines in a night. It was crazy.
Oh man, that costume change.
Yeah, and then making sure the lineup was okay so that we had enough time. But because we always have our recital every year, or we celebrate the anniversary of the team, we do like 15 routines, just the elites. And then we only have like 1 or 2 numbers to change, so we're already kind of used to it. So it was good training.
We used to train him like that,
Yeah.
Because when she was growing up, she used to be shy about changing in front of people, and I go, Lyliana, you just pretend. That's why the medias and stuff. Just pretend you're wearing. Just pretend you're wearing. Let's go. Let's rush. And
now I'm like, I gotta change.
But it's a blessing watching them grow and see how much they've come from back then to now, and each one of them different paths they've gone, and some are still with me, some aren't. but it's, it's just seeing that they all are doing their own stuff. That's a blessing to see that, and it's kind of like, and
babies.
Our babies are no longer babies, but I always tell them, no matter what, you'll always be my baby, no matter what. So that's it, no matter. So it's this ups and downs a lot with being the director, mom. It's been rough. But it's good. It's a blessing.
It's good.
It hasn't been easy.
I mean, you get to watch over them. Like sometimes, like you said, there's moments you're in director mode. There's moments you're in mom mode.
Yeah.
So, and understanding that over the years you've been able to travel, and what I admire a lot is the collaborations that you've been able to do with various people, either it be yourself with. I've seen work you've done with like Brian Gomez. I've seen the visuals you've done with J Squared. Just overall, just seeing and even doing your solos. And I believe you, like you said, you competed. I believe you won. There was a. Can you definitely tell us about that?
For the team, right? Yeah, we competed. So we first did amateur salsa with the amateur salsa team at World Cup. That was 2013. Again, like we were very secretive about it. We didn't tell anybody that we were gonna go. So we were just these little teenagers that just showed up and were like, "Hey, we're here," and that was just such a cool experience. And then thank God we won that one, which was really great. And then I don't know if was it the following year that we competed in bachata? I think, or there was like a year break, or I think it was the next year that we decided to do bachata.
Yeah.
And then
and salsa.
We did bachata, and then also we competed with Omambo. And thank God we won both of those too. The salsa category was so stressful. Oh my gosh, but it was so fun. And then David and I used to love we love salsa more than bachata if we had to choose one. So just having that adrenaline in the salsa, we loved that. And then I think was it the next year? And then the next year, which was our last year competing, we did. I think it was 2015. That's when we did bachata, and thank God we won that one too. So it's been crazy. It's fun. It's stressful. We usually start in October, and the competition's in December. So I guess work better under pressure. I don't know, but yeah, I think the last competition we did in 2015 was a little bit more stressful because half the team was the actual team, and then the other half was brand new. So we had four dancers. Yeah, we had 4 dancers that were we had to kind of adapt them to our style and just kind of motivate them and
the speed, because
the speed,
the way that they do stuff, it's not as everyone's used to.
I feel like our routines look easier than what they are because you need a lot of leg strength for the stuff that we do, especially the girls, because we've trained in the technical and different styles. We like to apply the technique to our routines. So it's a lot of this and this, and it's a lot. But so that one was fun. It was definitely a fun, memorable experience.
So realizing over the years that you've been able to dance, perform, even teach, do you feel like with you guys being kind of my generation, but also the new generation, did you ever feel that pushback from the community of you're doing too much in a sense? Like you said, you're well versed. Sometimes in the salsa community, I would see in New York is when you have a group that's pushing the limits and pushing the boundaries. It can be seen as okay, they're trying to one up. I don't know if you guys out there have witnessed things like that.
I know it was 2012 or 11 when there was one of our teachers that had told her, why are you having them train in so many styles when they can just be good at salsa, or have them just be good at bachata or hip hop? And my mom was like, no, because they're going to be dancers that can dance any and everything, and they're going to do it right no matter what we do.
Why do they need to be good at just one thing when they can be good at everything?
Yes.
And that's something that for me, and that was the attitude I got, because when I was dancing, somebody stops me at LA Congress, and then they were like, "Saya, tú no eres salsera, ¿verdad?" And I'm like, "No, I'm a dancer." And because I said that, because I just love music, and whatever it is, ándale, vamos a bailar, even if it's something that I don't like, I can't feel it, but I'll dance it because I've had to. Oh yeah.
The score was higher.
Brenda.
That was 2013. Our score was higher than the professional.
Brenda is one of Brenda. She's one of our OGs. Our OGs. She was there with me from the beginning, from the moment
she saw me since
she knows her since she was little, and she was there from the beginning, from MG. As soon as we opened MG, she was there. She was our ride or die always, and supporting us and being there. But
going back, I feel like I think a lot of people, or when we first started doing like the fusion stuff, I know Ismael Otero, and he was already doing that in New York, but here in LA, it wasn't done as much. So when my mom, I still remember, it was like maybe 2012 or so, where my mom found this song, Fortuna. It was like a Halloween song, but it was such a weird song.
Okay, but the thing is that I music. I love music. So my dad used to put all this classical music. It's called Fortuna, the song. And I told him, I go, oh my God, guys, let's do this song. That is because it's kind of freaky, that kind of scary type of thing.
It's creative.
Yeah, and I'm like,
and my brother and I just looked at each other like, what is she talking about? Like, we were like, but we learned, we got to trust her. Okay, like, I learned with experience that I have to trust her, especially with music, because a lot of times the way she edits the songs sound nothing like the original. So when I hear the original, I'm like this is not. And then she's like, let me edit it, and I'm like, okay. So then, so then with time, we just learned to trust her, and then that's when we started creating more fusions, more different songs, applying everything that we were learning in the different styles of singing overall, and just kind of finding a way to like mix. Or my mom would be like, hey, you remember that step you learned in the jazz class? Do it to the salsa song. And then we'd be like, okay, like, and we had to figure out the counts and just apply it and then make it look more like salsa, or like just kind of finding that balance and just being creative overall. And I think that's how we found our style, and now. And
people, if people didn't like what we did, to be honest, we didn't care, we didn't notice, because we wouldn't
let them.
No, we didn't talk to people. We don't talk to people. The only people we talk to, we didn't. So now the next thing you know, everybody's like, that's awesome. Okay, well, everybody's doing their own thing, and now they're I'm like, oh.
And now like all the fusion stuff, and now different styles. It's cool. Now it's expanding, so that way it's not just.
But it's always, for me, it's always been like that, because the music, we can't do it. Why not? What do you mean you can't? No, it's not supposed to. Well, yes, we can.
There's no rules.
There's no rules. It's music. It's dance. I can bailarlo.
Yeah.
And David used to make me, it's a chamaco. And he always like bugging me, because he's like, mother, you can't do this. I go, yes, we can. Let's do it.
And then he liked it at the end. And you were right.
It's always.
Man, it's funny you say that, because you and David had created the bachatango routine. And I think that one for me, that was probably 2-3 years ago, close to. Yeah. And when I saw it on the East Coast, I was like, wow, this is something. And mind you, I had an interview a few weeks ago with the gentleman who was responsible for that type of style. And realizing how beautiful it is when done correctly. Yeah. And I think when I saw David and you doing it, the connection was what got me. Because you can tell when artists but dancers connect. And it's that you can tell when that person's hand is coming here, where you're going to have that. Also the emotion both of you had. Because it's really the facial expressions give it too. Because you can do all of these moves, but if you don't look like you're enjoying it or in the moment, then, I mean, I've been to events that crowds are really harsh. And if you don't give them a show, I mean, but I mean, for me, a question I've always wanted to ask you, Lyliana, was how was that process of creating that routine and overall performing it? How did it make you feel kind of doing that type of fusion? And kind of the salsa world of bachata world itself. Yeah.
Well, our love for tango has been there since the beginning, because my grandpa, her dad, he loved tango, and his one true love was from Argentina. So he would always tell us stories, and he just loved Argentina. He loved the people. He loved tango, the dance, everything. He even bought her like a pair of tango shoes when he went out there. So we've always loved tango. And then my brother and I used to like put on shows, and she would help us choreograph. We didn't even know tango properly, but we would just try to just choreograph on shows for him and stuff like that. So we always loved it. And then when he passed away, we loved it even more, and we wanted to train.
Yeah.
So she found amazing teachers, Miriam and Leonardo, that are still our teachers till today. And
they're my dad's stamp approved them.
Yeah, he approved of them. So that's how we knew, okay, they're the ones we gotta hold on to forever, you know. So we've always had that. So then we just kept training with them, and then I think she found that song, and she's like, guys, like, this is like bachatango. And then we were like, what? Like, so we first heard the song because we hadn't even known that it was a star or whatever, and we kind of we didn't see videos or anything. We just kind of tried it on our own, and then we showed the song to our tango teachers, and they were like, what? Like, this is so cool. Da-da-da. And then they helped us choreograph all those little tango sections that we had. And we kind of just played with the bachata and kind of mixed it in there, and it just kind of
it gives it a different feel.
Yeah.
I feel that bachata is beautiful. It's very sexy, very romantic. But tango is passionate, and I feel that if you can mix, like, it just gives it a
it's like extra elegant when you mix them together,
like, you know,
but still beautiful and sexy and still
powerful. I don't know, it's different.
Yeah.
But how do you feel when you dance bachatango?
When I dance bachatango, I feel amazing. But yeah, I feel the same way. Like, I think I love bachata in general, and then I incredibly love tango too. So just being able to combine the both of them, I think tango, facial wise and performance wise, like the way my teacher performs, Miriam, both of them, but her, because I look at female, of course.
Yeah.
She just like, if you have time, look them up. Like Miriam and Leonardo. Man, like, and just the way they perform and just that passion that you were saying, like, if you were to watch, and I would always look at her and I'm like, man, like, I gotta do that face, like, so I would always be inspired, especially by her. So when it came to the bachata aspect, it's kind of finding, like, okay, when it's bachata, like, I can play more, but then when it's tango, I have to, like, transform kind of. So that was really cool.
But Miriam and Leonardo always say that David and Liana are their tango babies, because literally when me and my husband we used to take their classes, and as we were taking their classes, adult classes,
we were supposed to be sitting down.
They were supposed to be sitting down, behaving. And no, when I would turn around, I'm like, what the hell? Like, they're practicing that. And the combinations and stuff that they used to tell us, like, well, guys, they're gonna charge me. Like, sit down. They're gonna charge me because you're learning that. Like, I don't want to pay extra. Like, stay down. So then, ¿cómo se llama? Like, but the teachers, they fell in love with them because they look so cute together, trying to do the stuff. And so
especially David,
because David would ask.
They thought David was more angelic than I was, and I was like, no, guys, he's the
devil. It's the other way around.
Yeah, because he would act super innocent with them, and I'm like, no, don't fall for that. Like,
Miriam's always like, mi Davidcito. Sí, Miriam, dicen que soy malo. And like, hi, David.
Yeah, so funny.
Man, so what I would say, a question I have is, over the years, you've been able to travel. What are some of your, like, really memorable moments that you cherish, or like those performances that you can close your eyes and feel like you're still there? Because I think all dancers have those moments or shows that was like, I wish I could go back to that moment.
Oof, that's hard. Okay, traveling wise, I feel like anytime we go, our favorite places, and my brothers especially, was always Chicago and Scotland.
Scotland, I saw you guys. Oh my God, that looked amazing.
Scotland is just like out of this world, honestly. And just the people, the friendships that we've built there. I think anytime we've gone, I think we went to both festivals the same year or something. So I think it's been, we've been going to those places maybe like 5 or so years. And I think anytime we perform there, it's just totally different than anywhere else. So I think that's travel.
The thing is that when we started going there, it was the first time that doing this, what we do, we did feel unappreciated. I don't know if that makes sense. We felt that our work was not appreciated here. They didn't understand that, and LA, this is in LA. They didn't understand it, or they just didn't like us, or whatever. So when we started traveling, we went the first time that we had the opportunity to go to Chicago, and just how they received it, and they actually got what we were trying to do. They understood, and they would come up to them, man, you did this, and they would say, like, oh my goodness, like it was so weird for us.
We were like,
we're like, hold
they're
on,
complimenting
us, like we were not used to this. So it's that kind of like encouraged us to kind of, okay, next year, see us get it, and we go back, like we're gonna. It motivated us to, okay, what we're doing is okay. People do understand it. People do appreciate it, and so. And then when Vicky, Vicky knows them since, back in the day, since they were little. She's the one that said, guys, come to, I guess, look at MG, introduce us to the Saudi, to the promoter, and then in Scotland, and he said yes, and the people there, oh my goodness, they're so amazing. They're just so much fun.
It's just so one of those, like, you just gotta experience it kind of things.
I think that's why it's so special every time we go there, because I think that just how they make them feel every time they finish, and they that love, and they receive that. I think that's what makes it special. Everywhere that we've been, it's a blessing. But I think that's what, because I see them, their faces when they're
always happy there.
They're always happy, yeah.
And if I was to pick like an actual show, like from the top of my mind, well, there were several, but we got to perform in Argentina. And again, because of like everything with my grandpa and just love, just being there with my brother and being able to perform, it was like, first of all, they asked for the tango, and we said nope, not in Argentina. That is the home of tango.
That's some heavy expectations, right there.
Exactly. So we're like, no. And people were asking us like, oh, you guys are, and we're like, no. So, but just being able, I just remember being on that stage, and my brother and I got to perform Stairway to Heaven, which is the white one, the fusion. And just like, like that was, I think we were like crying right after. And then we also got to do an actual tango show, like a professional one with our teacher. And we got to do that one in New Orleans, and then another one here in LA. But the one in New Orleans was cool because we were celebrating the independence of Argentina, no? Yeah, we were celebrating that. So it was an actual tango show. Like my brother and I were just like what is, like, this is our dream, So to be able to do that, again, thanks to our teachers, it was a blessing. And those were the shows that were like forever, like bucket list check,
Yeah,
so,
no, absolutely. And you talked about Chicago, and Saya, right now you're wearing Miss Kimberly Rivera's.
Yes.
I'm loving that hoodie. And for me, a side story, me and Kimberly actually go back because she taught my sister when she was teaching in the Bronx before she moved to Chicago. So I've known Kimberly since she was maybe 16, 17. So I mean, she's amazing. And then also seeing the work you've been doing, collaborating with people like Ishmael, people like Matthew Rivera, seeing how you guys are doing MG intensives of bringing artists. And I think that's amazing because, like you said earlier about recognition, realizing that in LA, what can be very cutthroat in a sense, just like New York, when it comes to the dance world in New York and LA, I feel like it can be very similar of, there are so many dancers out there, and it's almost like the Janet Jackson song, "What Have You Done For Me Lately?" and it's almost like, what's new, what's happening? And for you all to have that moment, especially in Chicago, of actually having artists like truly just respect your craft, because I understand that moment, those moments when you feel like, wow, I'm putting everything into this, but I don't feel like people understand it.
Yeah. That was our struggle. Again, and it was, again, during that time where people here in LA, we were doing all this crazy, weird choreography fusions, and it was just kind of like that, And then we weren't going social dancing. They thought we were conceited because we were training and not going social dancing. And so then once we, like she said, once we went out there, it was just different.
My instructor, Karateka, he's the one that told me. Because there was a while when we would do stuff, and then we're like, man, but is it okay? Is it good enough? Is it this? And I was always like that. I always doubting myself. Will they like it? Will they do this? And he's the one that told me, he goes, stop doubting yourself. Yeah. You are good at what you do. Trust it, and just you learn. If it doesn't work out, fix it and do it again. And so that's something that those are the lessons, man, that I remember. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. If it doesn't work out, we'll just, and that's why we have like 10,000 routines, because like, no, I don't know. Let's do another one. Let's fix it and do another one.
We practice for our recitals, since we have to do 15 routines anyways. We try to cut it down but she gets excited and gives us a bunch of numbers. But we just use that and we're like, hey, maybe this can work at a Congress, maybe it won't, whatever. And then we kind of just go from there.
And we always do that. I always tell them, I want everybody in every Congress that I've gone to, ever since I can remember. Well, back in the days when I used to go to Congress, they used to be very the creativity behind every routine, like from everywhere that used to come. They were very creative. They were long routines, 5 minutes, 6 minutes.
Oh man, Saya, don't get me started, please.
That's why I told them, like, hell no, we're cutting it down to 2 minutes or less, man. We can't do that, man, that long.
I can say this honestly from my experience in LA. I think LA was the starting point where it started to becoming 20, 30, 40, 50 shows a night.
Yeah.
And then it just started getting like, I appreciate any artist that gets on the stage.
Yeah.
But 50 shows a night can just drain you.
Draining, yeah. And especially because it starts right now. Back then, at least they were very like, oh my goodness, so creative, entertaining.
Yeah.
Now everything's starting to look almost. I'm sorry. Everything looks because that's why they say
same.
It's okay. It's okay. It's your.
That's why David said, "Mother, like go back there," because I don't like being in front because then I'll say things that get me in trouble, and I don't want
to. I appreciate it though.
It's because it looks like this now. Like instead of let's do something different, and so that's why I told them like, okay, so they're gonna do a lot of this, a lot of that. Let's just do this. And if they don't like it, they don't like it. And I taught them to get used to not getting standing ovations because we're not doing it for that.
Yeah,
we're doing it because we just love to dance. Why are we here? And I used to tell them, oh, we love you guys. I used to tell them that the moment that you guys stop loving what we're doing, then we're gonna stop because. If we're gonna do it to get that standing ovation, we're not doing it for the right reason. And so that's why it's with them. It's like, no, let's just do this. And even if they don't like it, but at least it's something different, and we'll get back to normal. Okay, refresh. Now, okay, let's go again back to this.
Literally, it would be if she knew it was a salsa congress, she'd be like, all right, let's take bachata, let's take cumbia, and let's take a fusion. And if you knew that there's going to be a lot of the famous bachata artists in one night, all right, let's do our salsa. If there's going to be a lot of pedals, okay, let's do the fusion. And we would always try to do something different. So that way the pobrecito, the audience too, like they're going to be bored. Like we can't just give them all salsa, So this is how we would like plan which choreos to take.
We always think about the audience. We don't because I always tell them, like, at least for me as a attendee, if I was sitting there and I have to sit, like you said, 50 shows, I want to see at least, a little something to wake me up, or something to make me cry, or something that'll give me a little bit of emotion. That's what we always think of when we're on creating.
Even if we can get them to feel something, either it's like sad or happy or like confused, at least we got them to feel something, like that's the goal at the end of the day.
It's true. I mean, because from seeing the countless routines you've done over the years, especially through YouTube, from the costumes, from the makeup. I mean, I love that with MG, you guys truly put on a show. Because again, it's really, people have to understand in this dance world, even though we think it's big, it's really small, but it's also certain groups that just push themselves to a different level. Because you can tell going to dance salsa congresses, like you said, your opinion of things do look the same, but it's when you have a group like yourself that can go on the stage and give something different. It may be salsa, but the way you do it is different. The creativity is there. And you're not, like you said, I think it's so important what you said, Saya, is not looking for the standing out. Because I think that was one of the biggest detriments to many dancers or companies' longevity was they were following, and I've noticed this when I would go to tech rehearsals and I'm looking just at different performers, and then I'm noticing certain groups are starting to look exactly the same as other groups, and that's because they're seeing the formula and they say, that looks good, let me try it. But then this is like the movie Bring It On, and everybody looks exactly the same. I mean, I've seen it to the point that I've almost in one night seen, I thought the same exact routine by two different people.
Yeah, definitely. And I think exactly what you said, I think it has to do with a lot of these amazing artists that are good, you know, like all these, like Yamule and like Rodrigo, Adolfo, all these people, even the bachateros too. And they're like, oh, that's famous or that's cool, so let's do that, or we have to do that. And they feel so like, you know, so then they want to train with them, and what they're doing is they're copying exactly what they're taking from the classes instead of taking it and applying it to their style and just doing which is what we do, because we train with so many teachers, and we've had the privilege of having so many amazing teachers and instructors, and Brenda, and and you know, and we just apply that and we make it into our own style. So I just think that's what the community needs to do. We have so many costumes. Oh my goodness.
I bet. And Saya, a question I have for you, at least before I get to my random segment, is being a director of the team. I think you had told me earlier that if many people didn't know, with my generation, you were one of the original members there, and having the opportunity then to have your kids be a part of it. While they were getting older, you were still being able to dance alongside with them.
Yes.
But I remember you told me the story of how it kind of stopped, of how you made the decision, I guess, on a performance of that's enough.
Yeah. Well, okay. So what happened is that for a long time they were dancing three parejas, and then in this show, they were gonna do four, and Saya's going, you do it. I'm like, okay, I'll do it, but I don't, I haven't been up there and whatever. Anyways, so we go up there, and sure enough, it was the cumbia tejana that they performed. They had sacos, and so they would take them off and put them to the side. But the boys, because they're so used to just having three couples on stage, they threw the sacos where I was gonna land in my and so this is when I decided, like, I cannot perform anymore, because then as I'm going on stage, my instinct was to go pick up the sacos and to put him, and I'm like, oh, I'm a performer right now. Like,
you just see her in the video, like, look,
I'm like, no, this is not for me anymore. I cannot. So, and I don't mind it. I always tell the kids that when they're up there, I feel like I'm up there with them. Because that's why they always say, go watch them. I go, no, like, even if I want to see it, because I have time to leave them there and then go to the front and see them on inside the audience thing. But I'm like, no, I'm gonna stay here, because the thing has always been like, as soon as we pray before they go on stage, and as soon as they leave, as soon as they come off stage, I'm there to greet them and to always say, guys, good job, even though maybe they.
And then David and I would look at her like, no, really, how do we do, like? And we would be able to tell by her face, because like she could fake it to the team, but David and I already knew. So like based on how her face was, we're like, damn it, like the team didn't do good, like. And then if she was like happy, we were like, what? Like that's good, but yeah.
Man, I mean, well, now actually you gave me another question before we get to it, and you touched on it, Saya, was having the topic of faith and realizing that you being not just a dance family, but a religious family. And honestly, I commend you and your family a lot, because I think many people are maybe sometimes nervous to talk about being a religious family. Sometimes it's people have their own opinions, but I think just having a person or people of faith within this community helps, because it does give motivation. It does give a sense of purpose, for sure.
Definitely. The whole thing with the dancing, I grew up in a home where they were very strict, very, very extreme. And I was in elementary, and they were having a volleyball team tryout or whatever they want to play, and I wanted to play, and my aunt told me, you can't. And I go, why not? And it was because it's del mundo, or it's from, it's not godly, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
I couldn't play sports. And so when I didn't understand why. I didn't understand what does that have to do? But anyway, so when we finally came to live with my dad, he taught us that you can do this, but just remember that there has to be an order, like un orden to everything, and don't ever forget God, like in everything that we do. As long as we don't lose ourselves in it
abuse
or abuse of it, then it's gonna be okay. And so so with us, and my dad taught us that our relationship with God is the most important thing. If anything, like that's why I don't like we've been asked like, oh, how is it that you guys are Christian and you guys were okay with David being gay or this and that? I'm like, it doesn't have anything to do with that. I've been judged by my family, by many people, and I feel that nobody has the right to judge nobody but God. One day we'll meet him and we'll be in front of him, and he's the only one that has the right to judge all of us. But it has been a little bit of a for people to understand us, because
because they assume so quickly, like, oh, they posted about God, oh, like but it's like, no, like, we're normal. Again, we have tattoos and all this stuff,
where I started dancing, my dad didn't like me dancing there, and I never understood until he explained to me. He goes, it's not that I didn't like you dancing, it's just that you're showing a lot of your body, because that's how it was before. The less you cover, so that's the dancing that I was doing. So when we opened MG, my dad said, yo te voy a apoyar, I'll support you, but with, 2 conditions. That one, he said, make sure that, because of Lyliana, she's growing up, make sure that you teach them that sometimes a little can go a long way. That you don't need to showcase their body. You don't need to do that, because, give them que aprenda su valor, like my dad always said, for the, And then the other thing was, and teach them about God, the love and faith in God. So those are the 2 things that I promised my dad that I always do with them. Like, no matter, not to impose my beliefs on them, but but just to kind of like let them know, well, I have faith in God. This is what works for me. This is what I do. And I love, even now through the struggles that we're going and losing David, it hasn't been easy, but God is the one that's kind of like getting us through, like keep going, and that's the testament that we want. And through dancing, I just feel like I always tell the kids, this is a blessing. Us being able to dance and being on stage, it's something that, like, look what happened. Quarantine happened. If it stops, it stops. Mm-hmm. But so appreciate every moment, every opportunity that we're on that stage. Be grateful for it, because we don't know when, and justo pasó lo de todo eso, like, it stopped. It stopped for everyone, and it's so value, and that's why I always tell them that let's pray and let's thank God for this and being together. And every time there's always a different group in that prayer circle that we do, because every time it's like, man, it's a totally different team today. Mm-hmm. It's a totally different. we always
have new people, old people.
But then it also reminded me of like, man, but all these people are learning to at least at one moment in their life to pray and to thank God for, what we do. But it's been.
And that's why a lot of people, because she's always taught us to see dance as a blessing, because it's like, like, God has given me a blessing. I have to do something with it, but that when it comes to like the scene, and unfortunately there's a lot of drinking and partying and all that stuff. That's why either way, we don't have the hunger for it. So with or without God, it's kind of like, it's just a no for us. But because we love God and we fear him, we don't want him to think like we're abusing of the talent and like, oh, okay, I'm gonna just go crazy and all that stuff, like we still respect it and still show him like, no, we're grateful. So we're just kind of push away from the stuff that he probably wouldn't want us to be doing personally,
And don't get us wrong, like I've made a lot of mistakes, a lot. Mm-hmm. The Saya that I was back then is not the Saya who I am now. And Lyliana, we're not, a lot of people, and I get it. People think that, because I used to be, no, I think I still am. I think I still am a little bit of a feisty. I'm a mama bear, but like I try now to control myself and to kind of like breathe. And it's just the maturity and the faith in God and the lessons of life that have, that taught us to, but we need to learn we try to learn balance. Yes. And a lot of, it's okay to be, and voice that we have.
Yeah, we're not afraid to voice it. Yeah. I think that's just what people are afraid of, because unfortunately society today, it's so rare to voice, So even if I just put, oh, I love God, everyone's gonna be like, whoa, like, and it's like, no, I just love God. That's it.
I mean, when I see your rants that you go on, I'm like, I completely understand, because like even if you share something, and like you said, you can say, hey, I'm a religious person, but I can still have tattoos. I can still color my hair. I can still do things my way, but still have that relationship.
Yeah.
So I think it is important that when you can really clarify, because again, like especially with Facebook, I mean, anything you put up nowadays, someone's gonna love it, someone's gonna hate it. You
and
know,
everybody has their opinion. Everybody
Yeah.
isn't, and
They're
they're
entitled.
entitled to it. No, but this is what we do.
That's why I cut down my friends on Facebook. I
Yeah.
said, I get it, but you have Instagram to go and hate, but not on my Facebook, no more.
got you. So now at least this gives me a chance to transition to a segment that I have called the randoms, which is 10 questions that allows me and the audience to get to know you both a little bit better. Some questions are dance related, some are just totally random, but I think this will be definitely fun. So definitely let me know when you both are ready.
Okay.
We're ready.
All right. Number one is favorite food.
Ice cream. I know it's technically not a
It's not
food, it's a
food,
dessert,
Mensa.
but I always say ice cream. No Mediterranean food.
No, I like Mexican.
He
I like Mexican. Regular. I'm normal.
But if I could choose, ice cream for me, always.
I think Mexican. Oh, yes.
Yeah, you like Mexican food. That's her. With lemon.
With
and
mucho
salt.
lemon.
Oh, man.
Caldo de pollo is her
Mi caldo de
favorite.
pollo con
Especially from Mexico.
Mexican.
Oh, my God. You're getting me hungry now. Next question is funniest dance moment. And this can be on stage, maybe a costume mess up, maybe a fall.
Funniest. I was dancing. My husband. We were dancing in front of a high school, and I was wearing it's a 2-piece.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so my husband, he gets all excited. Well, he used to get all excited because he hears cheering and stuff, and he gets happy or whatever. So there's this thing where he has to pull me back so I can do like a little kick and then bring it.
Yeah.
So in one of those, he got too excited. I don't know what happened, but he didn't catch me, so I fell on the floor.
Ooh.
And then, but as he's trying to lift me up, he lifted up the bra. So then the high schoolers started like, you know, I was so angry.
But she had a tan bra under.
Luckily, I had the tan bra.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
But de lejos, like you can't.
Yeah.
You can't see it, and so the kids thought it was boob flesh, and I was so angry because that thing. And then
Andy was so excited.
Oh my God! They're for us. He's up, and so but there's a part after that we have to separate, and I just remember looking at him and dogging him. We have to do this thing, this quick little shine. We turn around, we look at him, and then he would do it and looked at me, and he says that till this day. He says that he didn't understand. Now he does, but like at that moment, like looking at me like he wants to hit me right now. And so that for me, that was the most embarrassing.
But the funniest part is that like David and I used to always hear this story, and we would laugh, and she would tell people, right? So we would always we were like, man, like it's so funny. But like it was literally a few months before my brother passed away, maybe like a month or a few weeks before he passed. And we always loved to just watch old videos, and we found the video of that performance. And so David and I saw it, and we were like, "What? Like
it did happen." They thought I was exaggerating. It did happen, and they were
we believed her, but like we just didn't. We were just so like, whoa! Like it became a reality, you know. So
it did happen.
It was so funny. And for me, funniest. There's just so many. I think I have two. There's just it's so many with my brother because there was once we were at a tango show and his pants ripped and he had turquoise underwear, and this is like a professional tango show, one of the ones.
Oh yeah.
And so we were performing, and again I was in this character, and then he's like, we were performing. He's like, Lyliana, my pants just ripped, and I was like, what do you mean? He's like, they ripped, Lyliana, they ripped. Dancing and doing lifts, and I said, it's okay, we won't notice. They won't notice. Like,
and then we're like, yeah, they did because that. And he wears turquoise.
So turquoise.
Oh man, yeah.
He wore turquoise underwear that day. I'm like, hey David, ¿por qué turquoise hoy?
Yeah, and then there's another time that we were at Tech, and he fell at tech in this random part, and we were laughing on stage. But then, so when we got to the actual show, I was like, "Don't drop me, David," because we both fell at tech. So then in the show, like, we went through that part, and I said, "Yes, like, we made it through. We didn't fall. Cool." But then at the end of the choreo, like, we were doing something, and I turned around, and he's on the floor. I guess he fell. And so we were just laughing. So I was like, "How do you fall?" Like, so those are just funny moments. Yeah.
I like it. I like it. Next one would be your favorite vacation destination.
Non-dance. I really loved. We went to Greece. We actually went with our church, Israel and Greece. There's an extension in Greece for like a few days, and I think that was by far my most. It was just so beautiful out there, like the water, the people, everything. That was. I would love to go there again.
For me, because it was one of the last one, first one that we've had together as a family, all of us, was when we went to France last year.
Oh, that was fun.
I was telling the kids that David never, like me, we don't like coming camera or taking pictures and stuff. But that was the first vacation that he actually didn't mind. He was smiling.
He was so happy.
He was so happy to be there. And I think just because my sister went, my husband, we went as a family and we just had fun. It was a few days.
No dancing. I mean, we did take a class.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
Dancing.
But it was such that I think that was that right now vacation so far because we're planning to do more. God willing, we'll do more. But that's yeah.
All right. Next one would be, what did you want to be at 10 years old?
I wanted to be a teacher.
Okay.
And, yeah, I actually want to be a teacher. I don't know why. No, yeah, I do. And I wanted to be a protector of kids that were bullied.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, because in elementary, I remember that there was this kid, and I think that's why I don't like because he estaba a little bit heavy the kid. And I remember that these kids were making fun of him, and I didn't like it. And I stood up for him, and I got into a fight. So I peleonera. So I defended him at that age, and the little kid ended up being one of my, like he se encariñó mucho conmigo because again, I defended him. But then from that moment, I think I wanted, like, I'm gonna be doing this. I'm gonna protect, all these, kids
from like being a bully fighter.
A bully fighter. But a teacher, because I don't know, I just love. I love teaching.
And you still teach.
And I teach dancing, but somehow I guess it came a little bit kind of.
I always wanted to be, since I can remember, I remember like when they were saying, what do you want to be? I'd be like, I'm going to double major in college as an artist and a dancer. And that would always be my answer. Like, that's just what I wanted to do. I wanted to do dance and art because I always liked drawing. And then my grandpa loved to draw too. Mm-hmm. I'm not that good at it, but I like it. So that's pretty much what I was gonna say. But yeah, and now I'm actually majoring in graphic design. I just changed my degree to that, so it's pretty cool. It's happening, and I'm still dancing, which is cool. But yeah,
awesome. You get to follow multiple loves and multiple passions.
Yes.
I think the next one I might have a clue what the answers are, but what would be your spirit animal?
Yours?
I think I'd be an elephant. I love elephants. I think they're just beautiful creatures, and they're so like nice and humble, and they're just so calm. And I love elephants. I've always loved elephants.
Me, I want to be, I think, either a bear or a wolf or a lion. Yeah, that anything that protects their cubs, something like that.
Yep, I love it. Mama bear though.
Yeah, the mama bear. I think I'm that's what I am.
Mm-hmm.
I like to, and I don't mind if they piss me off. I'll.
This one here, I definitely love asking, especially for performers, is at a Congress right now, if you could have one group that you would have in the lineup with you, maybe right before you or after you. And this is a question sometimes, like, as we've been in many Congresses, you see some groups that really amaze you that, like, I need to see them perform. Who would be like that one group that if you're at a Congress, no matter if you're performing, like, I gotta see this group perform before I go on?
Only one?
I mean,
I'll narrow it down to three. Okay, three. That's hard.
I don't know if it'll be
I think-
before, but I think after.
I think after for sure, not before. I think Yamule is always like that was always David's favorite too. Yamule for sure. If we were in Chicago and if they were still a team, it would be Gifted Souls.
Yes. Yes. I was actually part of Gifted Souls New York team. I love, yeah. This was maybe 2014. I love that group.
Just everything about them. And I don't know, just anyone else from Chicago. Maybe one of Kim's teams or, yeah. You?
For me, like if I had to choose one only, it would be, I think right now, Gifted Souls. Yeah. Because everything that they did, that's what we were talking about. Very creative, very different. Always art. Something. It was just art.
That Lion King routine. Yes, I remember.
So
just emotional. That, and then like anything. I don't know. It's just anything that comes out of Chicago. They're very. Chicago has a lot of talent.
Yeah.
A lot of talent. A lot of talent that is hungry. And I wish we could be there. I wish we could be there because, man, we would.
I know if we were stuck anywhere else in quarantine, and I wish it was Chicago.
I wish because just the hunger that all those kids have for learning is inspiring. Mm-hmm. It's very inspiring. So we love Gifted Souls would be for me.
Yeah.
So, right.
After,
So. Awesome. Next one would be, what would be your superpower?
Oh, that's hard. Yes. A lot better. You?
Me? I think if I could at least return, if I had the power to return time just for a little bit.
Yeah.
I'd stay there, but just rewind. If I could rewind, because I know I can't stay there, but at least rewind so I can see the people that I love and I miss. Just a little bit.
Good one.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's hard. Like maybe the same thing. Maybe.
Yeah.
I can visit heaven for like a quick second and come back. Yeah. That'd be my power. I would love that. Or fly. I don't know.
What do you want?
Yeah, I don't know.
You never thought about that?
Maybe like be invisible so I can like punch people and they wouldn't know.
You've been watching The Incredibles, I guess.
Right?
I like that. Well, this next question I do ask most of my guests, it definitely gets to people, is can you name 3 people that are most influential to you at this point in your life?
Can I name 3? I can. We have them. Which would be you go?
No, you?
No, me. Well, for me, I always look up to, I think, all of our teachers here, because they're all amazing. Mm-hmm. But right now, outside of LA, I think I love Kim. I love Matthew. I love Isma, Jose Luis, Melanie, Kate. There's so many. It's because they inspire us, well, at least for me. And just even like that we were talking about a while ago about amazing instructors. It's not just about the dancing, but also what they put in here. And so I think that because sometimes I can't physically take their class, but I'm there listening, how they teach, how they the advice that they give us. I say us because I'm listening. Mm-hmm. They inspire me, and just the fact that they just do them. Yeah. They don't copy. They don't. I'm sorry, it sounds ugly, but yeah.
It's okay. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly.
I don't know how to say nice things. I don't know how to make. We work at a bakery, but we don't sugar. Mm-hmm. We don't sugarcoat.
Okay, I like the double the word play there.
I think for sure a huge inspiration for me that's actually not in the scene. His name is Bo. He's my hip hop director. And I met him, I think 2017. Mm-hmm. I was taking a class at Kinja's dojo. Again, Kinja's is a hip hop team. And since then I was like, who is this guy and why is he so amazing? And now I've gotten the privilege to be under his direction and for the hip hop world community stuff. And because I'm so new to that, but just everything he is. And I think he's had a huge influence on who I am as a dancer right now. So it's really great. But he's a huge inspiration for me too. Mm-hmm. He's not in the scene, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Let me see then. Next question I have before the last one is, what is a special talent that many wouldn't know?
Okay, so because it was funny. I know I'm very good at throwing chanclas.
Oh my God.
Especially Edward. There's one.
She has good aim.
I have very good aim. I like when they get me angry, they run because they know, and I go, oh yeah, really, boom, boom, and they just.
It always connects.
One time with our eldest brother, his name is Joshua. Many don't know that we have another.
Oh yeah,
that I have.
That's a
fun fact.
That's another.
But his name is Joshua, and he dances too when he wants. Whenever he wants.
Whenever he feels.
And a few years back, to get to my room, it's like a hallway, and there's different rooms in the house. But then I guess he got her mad or something, so he was like running down the hallway, and she got an orange, and she threw it, and it hit his head, and then like he fell and he slid into my room. But then when we saw the orange was split open,
I didn't know it was that good.
Oh my God!
Pretty good with that.
But see, this is what they do. They like to do this to me, and then they run. So they like to really get. And then, and they until they see a reaction from me, they se echan a correr, and then and boom, and they hit them.
Yeah, me, I don't think I have any other talents but dance.
No, she draws and she writes.
Oh, I like to draw and write.
She actually writes like she doesn't.
I like to do poems and stuff like that here and there. I mean, it's just self kind of, but yeah. Okay.
She's made me cry because she like for Mother's Day or for stuff like that, she'll write things to me. Like she'll write it down, and oh my gosh, she's a beautiful writer.
My special gifts. I can make my mom cry, which is hard.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's awesome. At least we get. I think again that you, Lyliana, you do have many talents. It's just that, especially with writing and drawing, those are really. I mean, for me, I would love to know how to draw. So, I mean, hopefully I can see your drawings in the future. The last question I have. Oh, actually, before we get there, Diana says her drawings are beautiful.
Thank you.
And the last question I have is, if you were on an island, what are 3 things that you would have to have with you?
I need my Bible because I need Jesus or I'll go crazy. A Bible for sure.
3 things.
Okay, pause on the island. Okay, Jesus. I'll be okay with Jesus. Maybe I don't need a food. Does that count? Food like
absolutely.
What if it's like never ending, never melting ice cream? I can survive with that.
Well, it's called space astronaut ice cream. You can get that.
Right? Okay, so maybe that. And I don't know, you?
Well, since we're in quarantine, it kind of feels like we are in the island.
True.
I feel that right now. Water for sure, because water, food, and honestly, I don't know if there are things, but I think as long as I have my family there with me, I think my loved ones, I think I'll be okay. I'll be okay, and I think having family there would motivate me to like, oh really? I have to kill a
to actually eat and survive. Yeah.
And a lighter. Oh no, matches. No, because that could
match. Yeah. That'll work.
Yeah, it'll work. Yeah.
Something like that.
Well, again, thank you guys again for taking the part in this little segment. And we're kind of heading into the conclusion of the interview, but before anything, really now understanding the present day, and understanding especially this year has affected so many of us, and realizing to the untimely passing of David. It especially hit, if people didn't realize it, besides the West Coast, it definitely hit the East Coast because my self-understanding, I remember there were times that MG would come to New York and perform, and I noticed the relationships that you had with a lot of dancers on this side of the coast, but realizing the impact that David and MG had left for years, and realizing when that news came, how many people were affected. Meaning even people simply sending their love and condolences, but realizing I could say is the impact that he really laid on people like Lyric, Matthew, so many others that I would see messages or past texts or conversations they've had, and even seeing the past interviews, just seeing how highly he spoke of just the relationships he's had with dancers, but also his family, and realizing how close knit, but also realizing how you both and the Beltran family took this and really understood that as a family, you needed to come together more than ever.
Yeah.
But also realizing that a lot of people in your dance community cared about him so much, but realizing how much of an impact he really laid. And for me, just at least having you both on here tonight, like I said, I dedicate this interview to you and the family and David.
Thank you.
And so many, because again, it's people, life is too short, and realizing in our dance community, just everything that's going on, how valuable it is to the people that we have in this world and lose. But for me, I would like to know, how has this time been, kind of seeing just the overall love and support, and the condolences being given to the family? Like, how have you kind of seen the impact that your company has made in our dance community?
For me, I just feel, because I think it was bittersweet to see all those posts about my brother, to be honest, just because it was like, okay, wow, like what's going on?
We didn't know there be that many.
Yeah.
Because the people that we were around, Lyric, Matt,
Kim,
the people that we were close to, okay, cool. Our circle is not that big, and so we just didn't think. And so it was like when Lyliana says bittersweet, was because, even though we appreciate it very, very much, at least for me personally, I wish they would have told him that
when he was
here, because a lot of people don't know. David a lot of times thought that they don't care. People don't care about us. They don't care, man.
But he'd even say, like, people just like you, Lyliana, they don't like me.
Yeah.
And that would kill me, because I'm like, dude, you're crazy. But you get me? It's because a lot of people wouldn't support him. He'd go live on his Facebook, on his Instagram, and like one or two people, and it was just our friends, our loved ones. But then all of a sudden, like when he passed, it was like, oh, all these people liked his last post. And it's like, it kind of got us frustrated, to be honest, because it was like, now that he's gone, you want to show him respect, and you want to show him love, and you want to post a picture from like 20 years ago. You get me? So it was kind of, to be honest, we were emotional. So of course, but then once we saw that, we got a little frustrated, and it was just disappointing to be like, I wish you could have done this sooner. But now I feel like I always told my brother that his life was going to be a huge testimony to everybody. And I think it was just kind of like a wake up call for a lot of the people in the scene, and just reminding them, like, show that love when they're still here. Be kind to people when they're still here, like,
and message them, like, let them know, because I wish, like, David, like, he would have, because David, a lot of people, when he would dance or whatever, they always right away, oh, el gordito, or he shouldn't be dancing, or,
he hated
and
it.
all that, it broke him, his heart, like, it was. And so that's why I was upset, because even like, really, like, now you guys all, why if these people would have messaged him when he was here, I guarantee you he would have had a different way of handling things, because he was very he was a very, very big teddy bear. And so all the negativity, even though he acted like, it doesn't faze me, it affected him. So sometimes, like, our loved ones, our family, the ones that we know and we talk to, they're the ones. David, in his messages, he was always straight out with all of them, always being funny and grosero, like I was being grosero. That's how he showed them love, like he was always like that, messing around with all of them. And so with all of them, it's like, oh man, I love you guys. We love them so much. But with everyone else, it was kind of like, or people that stopped talking to us for a long time, and like, which is fine. There's people that we don't talk to for a long time, but then that happens.
We could just feel when it was genuine and when it wasn't. So, or even to see a bunch of people that wanted to start following him, as after he passed, it was like, really, like, you could have done this before, you know? So it was just those little moments that got us kind of like, and we can feel the people that were fake and the people that weren't. So honestly, we appreciated the people that did love and, you know, genuinely showed him that support. And
because when they would see him too, they would like,
they would. He knew that he knew that they loved. Oh, Jimmy's one of them.
Oh,
Mike, thank you guys so much. But yeah, so we could just tell, and yeah, that was just a bitter.
That was the bad. But other than that, the lesson that we got out of this, even though like we don't understand, man, things didn't change from one day to the other like that. But what we learned, like we always say, like our family has to be first, no matter what. Right now, that's like a lot of the negative stuff. Like we're gonna let it go, and just focus on the people that love us now. Focus on on doing on the things that David wanted, because we had planned a lot of stuff, and we're like, after this happens, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, you know, and we're gonna. And right now, him not being here, like kind of like bummed us out a little bit. We're like, we're not gonna do it anymore. But then David visited us on those dreams and like told us you can't stop. Basically, a lot of little dreams here and there, like telling us that we can't stop. So that's why we're planning to keep doing it and his memory and what he wanted, you know, because the dancing, a lot of the traveling was done because of him. Like he wanted it. If it was up to us, we're
homebodies. This is
for us. It's like, wait, what? You guys are like, no,
we're fine.
We're fine.
You're good.
But we do miss our friends and stuff. We miss hugging them. We miss all that. But
and I think that's why we're holding even closer to God, because that's the strength that we're finding to even just be okay and not be angry with like that he's gone. You know, I think God is a huge. Thank God we didn't feel anger or anything. I think we took our, because I know anger is part of the grieving process, so we took our anger out on the fake people on social media.
Yes.
And not on Jesus. Let's take it out on these people. So I think it was cool. But yeah, I think it also, the team wasn't actually rehearsing or doing anything through Zoom. Chicago. Oh, I lost that. The team wasn't doing anything through Zoom this whole quarantine. And then after David, that's when we were like, all right, let's bring this back. MG choreos. Thank you so much, Kat. She's a huge support also. But yeah, so it kind of inspired us to, we know that David would be like, guys, get on it. And something I would say is get over it. So like, just to know, like we've had dreams and we know where he's at and we're happy and we thank God. So now we're like, all right, let's just keep working and living our lives and living how God would want us to. So that way we can all be together again someday, you know? And
Absolutely. And, you know, I'm sorry.
No. Just to tell, I always taught them that no matter what happens, we always tell each other we love each other before we go to sleep. I love you. Yeah. Always. And even now that he's not here, we're enforcing that. Even with my with the other part of our Beltran family is really not that big either. Well, the one that we live with. Yeah. Now we love you, and you know the people that our friends that once in a while will check up on them. We love you guys. Remind them that they're amazing, and
I think the three of us especially were really close. My mom and David, and so I think because she always taught us like tell each other you love each other. Even though David and I were like ill brothers, like But I'm grateful to God that in the last days, the last months even, like we all got to really bond with him in such a special, he was like an angel. I was like, who are you? Like, but it was really special. And I feel like we don't have that many regrets, thank God, because we got to, again, we always told each other we loved each other. We always, so.
We would get angry, but then we got over it. Typical family. So I think that if anything we're getting out, or we want people to actually always apply in their life is to forgive each other, love each other.
Don't go to sleep
angry.
Yes.
Tomorrow is not promised, and that's a reality.
Don't take advantage of this life's many blessings, because,
No, absolutely. And, for me, hearing both of your stories from the beginning and understanding where you are now, I think really you are a family that is a symbol of hope, a symbol of perseverance, a symbol of just really moving forward But I think what I love about the story in general is just seeing the growth and the evolution, and realizing that even through the obstacles that you've gone through, you always, like you say, you give it up to God, and thus far he has put you in better spirits than before. And realizing, being able to talk to you both tonight has been awesome, because I get to talk to a true dance family, even though all the way in the West Coast, and just understanding what both of you have been through, but the family of MG has been through, and realizing everything you've been able to accomplish thus far and will continue to accomplish, I think has to be recognized. For you to both take your time out, and I know you're very busy women, just to speak to me tonight, all the way out here in New York, it means a lot, because long after we're gone, media like this will be around, so people can understand the story beyond the stage, and understand the human beings. And I'm grateful tonight that I've been able to have you on, to speak about your stories, transparent and honest. I appreciate your contributions. And at least two, before we do go, I would love, if I can get a few words from both of you, for myself and the audience. Yeah, I'm almost speechless. This has really been an amazing talk.
Thank you. Well, anybody that knows us will know that I don't like this. So the reason why I did it was because one of the things that David, I know, like we said, we're gonna do things for him now, and it's like, okay, this is uncomfortable. Okay, let's do it. What kind of a teacher am I gonna be? Tell him, get out of your comfort zone if I'm not doing it myself. So that's something that's why I thank you for having us. And it's a blessing for us just being able to, at least I hope people get to know that we're not as bad people as many might think.
Not at all.
We're just to ourselves, and we keep it. But one advice that I am gonna, at least I have a lot. I always tell the kids I have a lot to say, but okay, summarize it. What I noticed right now is that there's a lot of teachers that are being very, they're not being, no los aprecian. They're not
appreciative.
Yeah, no. We're not taking advantage of their talent. Like we're not. I don't know why. Like there's so many amazing teachers out there that actually teach you the right way.
Yeah.
A lot of our teachers that we open our classes so that they can go and train with them. I still don't understand why they're not doing it. I still don't get it, and I don't know if it's the pride. I don't know if it's. But my advice is get out of that. Get out of that. There's no way you're gonna grow if you continue to have that pride. Ese ego que tiene, like learn. Like it. Even as a teacher, we still need to keep learning ourselves.
Yeah.
Because you get it to a certain position, don't settle, because there's always somebody right here. Right here, they'll come. They're gonna right there, and it's for me. It's I always tell these kids, there's always somebody better than us. But even then, if they are, because they are better, let's learn from them, and get inspired from them. So if anything, I can say is, first, take advantage of come and learn, come and train, because it's important. If you're gonna do this, if this is something that you want to do, work on your craft, invest in it, because it's something that. Al rato when David was here and now he's not here anymore to teach us, he's not here anymore. So take advantage of those amazing teachers. There's everywhere from all over the world or wherever, whoever you like, and not just one style. Learn from everything. I know I've taken everything, belly dancing, Tahitian. I've done all of that fun stuff, samba, and everything that has nothing to do with bachata and salsa. But I was able to reference a lot of the things that I know to that, so that way I can kind of get the step done and explain it to them. So if you're going to be teaching, get your references, you know what I mean, and just do it. Like, I don't know, because that's something that bugs me. Like there's a lot more to dance.
I feel like in the beginning of quarantine, everyone was like, "Oh yes, like I'm gonna take these classes and I'm gonna get the chance." And like after, I don't think any of us thought it would be this long. So I think it's normal for us to lose that hope, or kind of have these moments up and downs, because I know that I've had them as a person and as a dancer, you know, where I feel like, Mom, like I don't want to do this today, and she would always push me and be like, no, keep doing it. And I think if anything, even though it's hard, like if you can like have everyone or whoever I'm talking to surround yourself with people
that have the same
mentality and that same, who are going to inspire you and keep pushing you, you know, to keep doing what you love. Because I know there's a lot of dancers that are starting to lose the heart of it, but I think it's important for us to find new and creative ways to fall in love with dance again. Like do research, like, you know, find, maybe you don't want to dance today, but okay, maybe research or watch videos, or there's so many ways that we can still stay connected with dance and just the art, the music, just find new stuff that we've never like practiced or done before. And I think that's kind of what we're doing as best we can.
I was telling the kids that I always, like, before it was so hard because the teachers, to fly them over here, they're always busy or different stuff. I am gonna take advantage of the Zoom thing, and after this whole quarantine is done, we're still keeping it. I'm still because I'm the type of person that I will invest in our training. I will do it because I know what it takes. I value the teachers. I value them so much, and I appreciate them because, and there's just, everybody has put their work. Well, at least the teachers that we've had, we learn from that actually have invested and they've done their years of training to do it. So I hope people do that now.
I think especially in this age of social media, there's like so much hate, especially now, like extra hate for no reason, which I don't know why. Like if you don't like something, you just don't like it, and you don't have to comment and say that you don't like it, you know, in general, like it has nothing to do with me. But I think we should show more support and love on social media the best we can, to kind of like outweigh that negativity. If you like a video, like don't hate on it, like it and tell the person that they're good.
There's a lot of things we don't like, and you don't see us going like,
but also support the people that you do admire and love, because I think a lot of people need to hear that. Same with my brother. He needed to hear how much people looked up to him and did this, and now unfortunately, I mean, he's better off now, but he doesn't need it. But like, people need that. And I think if we as dancers, especially the salsero, bachatero community, can start supporting each other and uplifting each other instead of being like, no, you're doing this wrong, or you're doing, then like, I think we can be better. I think this community needs to like do this, because we've been doing this for a long time.
Absolutely. I think, again, with the conversation we've had, it's actually giving the blueprint to our community to say like, hey, reach out to those in the community that if you're inspired by them, let them know let them know how much you are being inspired. And I think, again, what helps is us having these honest conversations about your lives with dance and without it, the things you've gone, the obstacles you've gone on along the way, but just seeing how no matter what, you still have a positive outlook on things, I think is something, again, that we can recognize, because like you said, in this world today, it's crazy, but we'll all get through. But at least before we go, what is some contact information that we can have so people can reach MG and see what they're up to next?
Yeah, I think on Facebook and Instagram you can follow MG Dance.
MG Elites, MG
Dance Company. I think it's MG Dance Company on Instagram.
No, MG Dance.
Or MG Dance.
MG Elites, I think.
MG Elites, MG Dance Team. One of those. One of those. Just MG Dance.
And Instagram it is MG Dance Team.
MG Dance Team on Instagram. And Facebook, I think it's MG Dance Company or Elites. One of those. MG something. And yeah, I just
and Instagram you.
Me, Instagram. Danza del Sol or Lyliana Beltran. One of those. Like,
yes, Lyliana making those controversial bachata videos now.
Yes.
I know. Everybody's gonna hate, but most of us, we love it. And you know, honestly, Lyliana and Saya, I really do appreciate you both again, and your family and the MG team, because again, all of you have laid contributions that many now know even more. And you know, I'm grateful that I can have you. I know you're very busy, but at least before we go, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And this is our first interview, but I definitely don't want it to be our last. And I'd love to catch up with you later, actually in the beginning of next year, and see what MG's up to. But again, I'm glad that we can do this, because this here is really that documentation for people to really understand who Lyliana, Saya, David, but MG is not just what they do on stage, but off.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you so much for having us and allowing us to just do this, and thankful that my mom is here because I know.
Yes, absolutely.
David would have been like, yes.
Yeah.
He always wanted me to do stuff like that. I'm like, nope, I don't want to.
Yeah. So now he's still making us do all the things that he wants us to do. Isma,
Isma,
I love you.
You are the best.
Isma's the best. He's a legend, and people need to take advantage of these legends in the scene because
David, all the teachers, every time they would come, he would pick on them, and then he would say, that's it. You could do better. That's all you got. He would always do that to all the teachers because he's a jerk. He was a punk. he always did that. So that's why we love it, because in our intensive, it's the teachers and the students. We all motivate each other, which is awesome. And
yeah, just thank you for all the
Take
people
advantage, man. Take classes with all these people. Yes. Learn.
Yes,
we have a new blessing now with the presidency stuff.
Yeah.
So good things are coming,
No,
so
I definitely believe that for sure.
So we just gotta stay hopeful and faithful, and we got this.
But thank you for having us. It's
a
blessing.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm so excited to talk.
Absolutely, and honestly, just as well as Lyliana, to have you, Saya, on, because like you say, you kind of do behind the scenes thing, and for you, like even Brandon here says, I got Saya on here. I mean, this is very special for me. So I hold it in high regard. But again, Lyliana and Saya, I thank you so much that we can have this discussion. Me as a videographer, like I've told you before, when things get much better, I personally will offer my services to you. I will come to Cali and film for MG if you ever need it. But but again, I want you guys to stay safe, keep motivating, keep inspiring. And again, I think an easy quote to end out with is, with God, you can do anything.
Amen.
Absolutely. Yes. So, I mean, again, ladies, stay safe out there. Have a beautiful night, a great week, and we'll definitely be talking soon.
Yes, God willing. Thank you so much
for having us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sending our love.
Bye.
Bye.